Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
And we are back. We are in a different setting. We're at my house because I had a bad day yesterday. And so they came over here so I wouldn't have to pack up and leave. So yeah, here we are. Got lots of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Long week.
I wonder if we're going to see any wet hummingbirds.
Yeah, the hummingbirds, the one that Hobbs is always looking for usually sits down there. I don't know where Hobbs is. He's scared of them, so he may not be
One
around.
of them,
Calvin
he was sitting there and I just started petting him and I went to talk to somebody and he puts his head like, hey, I wasn't done.
Yeah, my kitty's got a treat for them coming over. But I'll go first. I have giant news. Look at this.
It's so cute.
It's finished.
I like the way one side is orange and one side is...
Yeah, just at the top though.
Uh-huh.
And
but
then,
the stripes
and then after a little while
great.
the stripes match. And then the sleeves, I could have been pickier about the sleeves because I was afraid because I wasn't quite sure. You can see where I attached them. It's where the stripes get thick. But they are just off by, I don't know, half an inch, I guess. If I had started a little later, let's see, I did this one first and this one second. And so if I had started this one a little later in the color sequence, they would have very close, or no, yeah, they would have very closely matched. Do you see how the purple, pink is lower than the pink, purple, pink on this side?
And that one has a green end. I mean, this one has a green end.
And this one just was starting green and blue.
But I think it's fine because...
But I think it's cute.
You know...
And because it's random, the top is random, and then the little back rib, since you add it last, is also sort of unrelated. But I am so proud of this. I'm debating still getting a wooden button here and making like an I-cord loop to just fasten the little top right there. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. The little kid, they won't button it anyway, so.
Yeah, but I was
the
thinking
mom can.
with a little kid, you know, they don't have the body consciousness that adults have, and so their jackets are always sliding off their shoulder or whatever.
They'll wear it like our aunt hurts.
Yeah. so a button here would
then,
you know, keep it on.
This is so, I love this. Look at the little keyhole. I will put a picture, a close-up of it. But this was the most complicated. I think I showed this last week.
Yeah.
The one of them.
The one, yeah.
And so this is the second one. This was the original, the first one, and the second one, it was backwards. So because it's you know their one is left, one is right, and so they twist opposite. So it was just as difficult the second time as the first, but I think it came out really nice. I sent pictures to the mom and she loves it, so that's going. And the other thing I did, so this was the Jacob wool yarn that I spun up a while ago, and I don't remember now, and I didn't make a note to myself if this has had a bath. I kind of think it has not yet.
There was one that you brought last week that was still damp.
No, that was the Mill Ends one, the mystery mix. Yeah, that's. But this is one I brought it months ago, and remember I had it over my neck, and I'm like, it's kind of scratchy. Well, this is the sister to that. This is also Jacob wool by a sheep named Esau, and it's underneath this row. This winding of dark, there's color that's almost just like this. So this is all from the same sheep. He's just gray and black and kind of whitish. So this is all Jacob wool. I got this plied. I think it's about the same because I've spun them so far apart, but I think it's about the same weight in terms of like wraps per inch and stuff. So that's something I did. And then something miraculous happened. I went out to the place I get eggs, which is originally the place I get wool. Well, that's not really true. I get my wool from Tempe Yarn and Fiber, but my friend Sonia, who has the chickens, also, that's where all the fiber comes from, is from her. She has an industry that she goes around and collects from small farms and does a lot of conservancy breeds and stuff like that. And she will take it all and take it up to Prescott. It gets processed there and packaged, and then she takes it over to, or maybe she packages it and takes it over to Tempe Yarn and Fiber. But she had a little sale going on last Sunday. And last Sunday, I wound up in the hospital just for a brief stay, which is a story. And I missed it. So she's like, you want to come out and take a look since you missed the one day on the sale? I was like, yes. So I went out there and she was selling little bitty, I'm going to move this out, little bitty, I can't remember how many ounces it is. I mean, is it 2 ounces maybe? Of all her different fibers. And so I went chopping.
She went crazy.
Well, not too bad. Not
Oh,
as crazy as I
cute.
could have.
You have a
But-
Bob black sheep there.
What's your silver?
Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
So these are,
You can almost see
this
it on
is,
sheep.
yeah, this is Romney. It's very, I'm not supposed to use the word soft, right? But it's very soft. And very, it just looks just yummy. This is Romney. Oh, I want to put it in the, and then this is Lacoon, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's like a cloud. It looks like a cotton ball. And I cannot wait to spin this. So there's that. This is, okay, I'll tell you about that one last. This is Tunis, which is the kind of sheep that Sonia has. She has Tunis sheep, and this one, compared to its siblings there in the pile, this one was very red. It's going to be hard to see on camera, but it has, can you see how it has kind of a red tinge to it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's different than this white. See how different it is? Whitish. And then this is Rommeldale CBN. It is so, oh, I love that color. It's like a rich, I don't know, latte. Yeah, yeah. There's that. I'm hiding Beth's face. This is Coopworth, which I have spun some Coopworth, which is in like a coppery gold color. And this is a gray. It's really nice. I remember it spinning up a little bit scratchy, but this one doesn't feel so much that way. So I'm curious how that'll be. And then this guy, this is also Rommeldale CBM, like this one, but it's black. She said she got a lot of actual black this year, which is really nice. Isn't that beautiful? And then, let's see if I can balance it. Then I got this. This is Cotswold. And when I picked it up for the color, because I kind of wanted, you see all these colors, I kind of wanted a variety of color. And I picked up this Cotswold and was like, oh, that's pretty. And I put it in my bag. And then I went home and I started to think, what do I want to do with this? Do I want to spin it all up? I thought about actually spinning it up and making, getting out my Cricut weaving loom. It's a rigid heddle loom and I haven't done any weaving in a while. And I thought about spinning this up and then deciding on what warp threads I want and using these for weft and making a fabric. And I thought I could make it into a bag and sell it on our Etsy shop or not, or whatever. But I thought maybe I'll do that. I'm still thinking that. So while I went, as I went home, I was looking. I have a lot of Jacob wool. Obviously, I have that whole fleece from Naomi, the Jacob wool. But also there was this other bump sitting there in a package, and I was like, what is that? And I grab it, and it's this. It's Cotswold. And I've never spun Cotswold before. I grabbed it originally. I had forgotten I had it. I probably grabbed it because of the color. And this is it right here. I'm going to bring it close to the camera. And I picked this up. I took it out of the package, and I thought, oh, you know what? This is 4 ounces of this Cotswold. I'm going to spin it and make the warp threads for this fabric that I want to make. Because it's 4 ounces, it'll be a lot. I'll use it all up in the warp thread, and that'll be the length of my weaving, and then I'll use this for the weft. I changed my mind as soon as I started spinning this because it was like I'll put a picture in of my sort of mid-progress photo. This is just the single. I haven't plied it yet, but it was so silky and so smooth, and it wanted to be thin. So it's a very, very thin. This is literally how it just came off how it just wanted to be. I can't describe it any other way. Sometimes the wool just wants to be fine, and so it spun up very fine. I think I'm going to chain ply it into a 3-ply, whereas like these are 2 plies. They're just, I make a ball and then I chain it back on its, ply it back on itself into a 2-ply yarn. So that's what these are, but I think this I'm gonna make into a 3-ply, and I'm gonna see what it feels like when it comes out, because if it feels anything like I think it's gonna feel, I'm not using it as a warp thread. I'm going to, so in a weaving, the warp is what's the long threads this way, and then the weft is what goes back and forth. So if this comes out the way I think it will, I'm going to make a shawl or a scarf or something out of it. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll spin all this up and also use it in some kind of wrap, because this was so impressive. I was like, I need all the Cotswold at Tempe Yarn and Fiber, and I need to make a sweater. That's how nice it felt. So I'm hoping it still feels that way after I apply it, but I was so impressed with it. So that was my new discovery for this week was Cotswold, and Cotswold wool. And this is kind of what it looked like. Maybe this is the same sheep it came from this year, I'm not sure, but that was from probably last spring's shearing. But anyway, so that's my wool adventure. Are these pretty?
If you hear snoring, it's Naomi's dog.
It's Quilter. Yeah, she's right there. She's quite bored with us. But anyway, so that's my fun pile of fluff. And so it's just beautiful.
That black, I love that black.
I know, and it's so hard to get. Like she was telling me, sometimes it's like
it's kind of brownish looking.
It's brownish, but like my Naomi wool is really black, I think. But this is as black as it gets, Beth. I really think it really is pretty black. So that was so much fun.
That's like Puck, he's black when you look at him, but if in really strong sunlight, you can see the brown.
I wanted to spin this up really fast, but I had this already on the wheel, and then I'm like, oh, I'll do this Cotswold. That's the other thing about this spin, is that I did this in the space of just a few hours, maybe. I measure everything in movies that I watch, and so maybe like 2.5 movies worth of time, which, it's like 4 to 6 hours, maybe 5 hours, which is really fast. It was the easiest spin I've ever done in my life. I was very excited, and I wanted to ply it right away, but I realized I needed to finish plying this Jacob first and free up some of my spools. But I was really happy. I was like dumbfounded. So that was my work this week. I finished that little sweater. Still working on Rachel's shawl. I don't have it with me today. It's in my room over there, but I'm going to work on the Oliver green sweater while I sit here, because it's just back and forth, and that's all I have the brain power for today. So I have that here with me. This is the point of the sweaters where I always give up, because it's supposed to be 8.5 inches, and I keep measuring it, and it's like the same. I do like 4 rows or something, and I'm like, it's still 6.5 inches.
When I used to live in Little Rock, I would drive to Albuquerque for Christmas or whatever, and there was one year when I was driving home back to Little Rock, and it had started snowing, and so I had to slow down because of the weather, and so I passed the highway sign, mileage sign. It's I thought, okay, so about 2 hours, okay. So then I was driving along, and it was snowing heavier, and so I had to slow down again. And so I passed another highway sign, and I looked at it. Okay, 2 hours.
It's still 2 hours.
And so like I swear, every sign I passed, when I calculated it was 2 hours. I'm like, oh my God,
you're
I'm
going backwards.
It's like a time warp or something.
Yep. Well, on this pattern, because I was feeling so far behind, I kept looking at the percentage of the pattern done.
Oh, on your app?
Yeah, because it says how many stitches you've done today, how many stitches you've done total, how many stitches they are, and what percentage you're done. And it's kind of accurate on this one because it doesn't show back stitching.
Oh.
On the Trendy Modernist, there's a lot of back stitching and it doesn't show it at all. I have to look at the PDF to do it. But, so I kept looking at that and it's like, but it keeps saying 48. And I do another row,
48.
48.2. You know, and finally, you know, when I finished that chicken, it was over 75%. And I was like, yes. I started on the rooster, and I'm at 78%.
So you're talking about Coup Parade now, not...
Yeah.
Yeah, Coup Parade, yeah, not Tiny Mars.
Oh.
Coup Parade doesn't have any backstitching. So,
Wait. Try not to drop it.
Oh, you got it. Yeah. So anyway, that's me.
yeah,
And someone else can go now, because I think that's all I have to talk about.
I have a lot to talk about, Beth, so if you want to go next, that's fine.
Well, I kind of have a lot too.
No.
Well, then I'll go next, so
Yeah.
I get a turn.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead because I'm not. I have all my stuff all.
Okay,
I didn't
so,
take it out of the bag yet.
I'm going to take this out of the hoop so you can see it, because when I take the pictures of it, I just take what I'm working on at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually starting to really look like something. Oh, my needle. I'm going to take this off of here. So,
Oh, nice. Very nice. Cute.
the chicken. Look
me
at the chicken.
Oh, that's adorable. That's
Yeah.
so nice. That's a very well done chicken.
I took the needle
Oh,
off.
I was gonna say.
It's on the needle minder.
Oh.
Yeah, because I didn't want to lose it. So I've been concentrating a lot on this.
Use a table right
I was so happy when I got over 75% and I still had a week left. Don't have a week left anymore. But, you know, I'm starting to feel a little bit more
there. You
hopeful.
have a week? When is
It's
the
like,
1st of
it's
August?
like 6 days or something like
Oh, when is the 1st of August?
that. The 30, the
Sunday, I think. Sunday? Is it Sunday?
I don't know. So I also was sewing a lot, not on the things I should be sewing on. I finished this except for some hand stitching.
Oh, that's adorable.
That's cute.
Um,
I hadn't seen that.
It's so
I
summery.
finished that this morning except for some hand stitching. Because of the way I want to do it, I'm going to have to hand stitch right here,
Oh, uh-huh.
but I'm willing to do it.
That
So,
is so cute.
so that is...
little drawstring bag.
Yeah, little drawstring. I put a temporary little cardboard in there, but
Uh-huh.
you know, it's not going to be what's going to be in there. So,
Nice.
and then
That's pretty. Is that blue? It looks black.
it's blue.
That's nice. It's such a really.
Yeah, yeah, it's
It
blue.
looks black.
Came from that same red, white, and blue pack that I did, the one I gave you.
Very dark blue.
So I've been working on these squares for. I will be not using these. They're quilting squares, but I won't be using them for a quilt. So this is the dark and light color. Then I have the medium light and medium dark color still to put together. And these need to be trimmed and then snowballed. So
What is snowballing?
snowballing is putting this little corner to make it look round.
Oh.
So when these corners match up with the corners on, you know, if this has a snowball, you know, and they match up, it makes a little triangle right here.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm holding it wrong, but each block is going to be 4 of these.
It almost looks like those quilt I've seen. That's like an optical illusion box. Because that, if you look at it in the camera,
There's
right now, it
probably
looks
a whole
like
bunch of
box.
different ways that you can
Yeah.
arrange them, but in the pattern, you know, it has 4 of these arranged. And you know, that's true with a lot of quilt squares.
Oh
is
yeah.
that the design is, you know, you look at a design, oh, I love that design, but if you put it together a different way, it still makes a beautiful
That's
quilt.
what. Yeah, that's what Jenny Doe says from Missouri Star Quilt. Is that, you know, play with it, and this is the way we put it together. But you might find a whole different.
Well, and I
outcome.
was watching a video on Drunkard's Path,
Yeah, that's a good one.
and the daughter had done a pattern where it looked like a river flowing,
Mhm.
and I'm like, that's so pretty.
Yeah, it's neat.
And then I was watching another company's video on a darker pattern, and that pattern even says you can put it this way, this way, this way, this way. No, not the pattern, the stencil thing.
Mhm.
Anyway, I chain piece these, and I kept stopping in the middle because I had a lot of things going on this week, and then it takes a minute, and I keep looking at it because I want to make sure that I put them together like this long color right here. Okay, I have some that are this color, some that are this with the little planets on it, some that are gray with the little planets on it, and I wanted to make sure that they were put in such a way to have a nice look, not just yes, random, but not completely totally random. I didn't want the gray next to the gray because I had to, they're both dark color.
Right.
So then, when you get interrupted, you're like, oh, I have to do it again. I have to see what I'm doing. Yeah. So I have to snowball all of these, trim them and snowball them, and then I'll start on the other color section. Then I'll put the 4 things together, and the 4 things together will make one side of a bag and the other side. And what I think I'm going to do, because I thought for a while, I'll put a dark and a light and a dark and a light, or, catty corner or whatever, and same on both sides. But I might make a dark side and a light side. I don't know.
Yeah, play with it, see?
Yeah. And then I did some finishing. I finished this bookmark, but I have crooked eyes. So I swear I matched it up, but it's crooked. When I went to pull the fringe out, yeah, it's good.
Well, you know what? The lines aren't crooked, but it's like this got stretched over here or something.
I don't know. It looks weird.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's
down
just-
here, too.
It's just for me, so
Yeah, that's cute though. That's adorable.
I just stuck sticky felt on the back.
That's nice.
So, I don't read books anymore. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I do read
I
books,
know.
but
You
I
read
read
them
them on-
electronically.
yeah, I read them on my phone, or I listen to them. And then I did a video finishing this. As you recall, the
The tomato seeds.
tomato seeds.
Stitching with the housewives.
Mhm. And I found this at the dollar store. I've showed it on my video.
The tray.
Yes.
You showed it on our video too.
Did I?
Yeah.
And they have a whole, they have a whole bunch of different things there, and every time you go, it's a different selection. So
Whatever
your
fell
store,
off the truck today.
yeah, your store may not have the same trays, I don't know, but they have our Dollar Tree has such a good craft section now. You can find so many things there. And so I chose the one with the handle that looks like the old time, crates they would carry things in. And I put tomatoes on the side because a lot of times those old time crates would have stuff on the side, And the paint that I chose, I knew it was going to be similar to the stitching. I'm going to bring this close instead of taking a picture. Oh, I can't. I'm attached.
You're attached.
I'm attached. Hold on. So, the paint is so close in color to the stitching. I was so happy. When I saw because when it dries, it looks different.
Yeah. You mean the fabric that you dyed is exactly the same color?
I started with the dyed fabric. Oops. Sorry, I'm attached to this thing.
She's got a heart monitor on. She's trying to be like me. She admires me so much. Yeah, that is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's very
So
nice.
that's for
so
my
cute.
niece. It was supposed to be her birthday present, but now it's a new apartment present. So I'm actually going to leave this here.
Wow.
But I made a video on my channel.
Everyday Artist Eve.
Yeah,
Or
which
everyday artist Steve. I always think I'm looking at the word Steve when I say.
So in the description below, there's a Linktree link and link to my.
And the
videos
link
there.
tree, if you click on that, you'll find both of their
Yeah, and so
YouTube channels.
please comment if you think, because I couldn't use my tripod, I couldn't get it close enough, and I used something I used to do videos with before, and I was able to aim it down, but I was like, I can't get it up high enough, so it was really close. And let me know if you thought the video was where you couldn't see it, because I want to make more videos like that, but I want to make them as I want to know if you're having trouble viewing it, and I know that a lot of times it was off to the left because the pad that I had before. The tablet, the camera was in the middle, but on the iPad, the camera's over here, and I had to keep remembering to move it over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that there's issues, but let me know what you think and what you actually think of the project.
That is so cute.
So, and I'm really pleased with the way it came out.
Yeah.
I kind of want to take some sandpaper to it, but I'm not going to. And almost lastly, I got my book in. Now, I've had this book before. I've actually made this particular purse for Mom. Remember the one that was sitting on the dresser?
Oh, yeah.
With a really soft placemat.
Mm-hmm.
This purse is made from a placemat, and it comes out really good. A lot of the projects in here, they tell you to use duct tape and things like that, and staples.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, but you don't have to. You can sew it, and you don't have to use duct tape. You can use cloth. But the bag I made for you, the Christmas bag, that's right here on this thing. And it also is made out of placemat. I actually want to make some of those.
What's that?
It's just a tote.
Like a waterproof kind of tote?
Well, it's made out of, duct tape or something. But here it is, right here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just 3 placemats and some webbing. Yeah. And this one, it does say sewing, So, and you've had that for how many years now? A long time.
A long time. Well, because it's Christmassy, I don't have it out all the time, but I found it, and I was like, ooh, it's really, it's really
very
nice.
sturdy. And then, as I said last time, I have a real serious problem.
More fabric.
More fabric. This is, and I might actually make myself something with this because I just absolutely love it. But it's like animal prints. Like the one on top is a snake print. And if I remember, we say we'll take a close-up picture, and we're gonna have to try to start writing that down.
Yeah, because I always editing the video. I'm like, you never took a picture of XYZ.
Yeah, but it's got different animal prints, and it has like a gold metallic around it, and it's really beautiful.
Cute. Yeah, it's kind of neat. I don't dig animal prints usually, but this is really nice.
Because they're not
because they're small,
and they're not
like small patterns. Like you kind of can't.
And they're not the actual color of the animals.
Yeah.
So that
yeah,
also
maybe
helps,
that's what appeals to me. Like that's a tiger stripe, but it's pinkish, orangish.
She reminds me of that girl. There was a woman on What Not to Wear
It's really nice.
that would put. They were shaped like flames, but it was like
Leopard
an animal
flames.
print. Yeah, it's like.
I remember that episode.
So,
won't be doing that.
so I'm going to do something interesting with this, but I don't know what. I saw it there, and it was on the Daily Deal, and I was like, I love it. I went and looked at the fabrics that matched, and I was like, okay, yeah.
Nice.
But I have to stop for 2 reasons. It gets expensive, and
Money.
Yeah, that.
There was another gnome fabric. Oh, did you get it?
And yardage. And I looked at the gnome fabric I bought at
I want to say
where
this
it
out loud.
was.
I wanted that fabric very badly, but I didn't buy it. In a very frugal notion, I decided not to spend the money. He's right there.
So, I looked at the gnome fabric that we bought at the store the other day,
Yeah.
and I think they go well
It'll
together.
go well together. Oh,
yeah.
fun.
So,
Fun,
it's
fun.
I got was it a layer cake? I think it was a layer cake, and some yardage. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, he's working his head out because he heard me.
So,
It's like, I get the message.
so other than stories, that's me.
All right, your turn, Beth. What's up?
Okay,
What's
so
I see you working on this. It looks like it might be for me.
could be.
I am a selfish little baby sister. I tell you what, everything is about me.
So I was working earlier this week. I was working on Spring Scamper, and I'm working on this giant carrot mobile that he's driving. The middle bunny is driving.
Cute.
And so so I was working on it,
And you got sick of
and
the
got to the end of this. I did this row, and I did like the end of the thread to here, and I kind of got sick of it. And then eventually I went back to it, and I started doing up and down shorter rows over here on the end.
Because you're like, I ain't this.
Yeah, so I don't
But
want
it's not the snowman.
No.
It's not the snowman of
But my
2020.
snowman is
Look at, I didn't
My
trim
snowman
that.
is so cute.
It is so cute. I was looking at it the other day and I was like, oh dang, that's adorable. but I just remember,
And I don't
Was that
care if it's
2020?
July, my snowman is out.
was that the snowman of 2020? I think it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't
No,
2019.
it was
in
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So-
snowman of 2019.
Yes.
Now it's the
So,
carrot of
yeah.
2021. But it's really not that
So I was
big.
working on this carrot.
It's
So,
not that bad.
but, oops, sorry, this,
No, but I
picked
feel
up
you.
my
I feel
needle.
you. This never-ending sea of stuck in it.
yeah, so, yeah. So I got a little tired of it. And I'm allowed to, because I'm just filling it, marking time till my August 1st
August.
camp start. But, so when I put that down,
Are
I
you
thought,
using a thread with variegation?
this one, yes.
Well, okay, just me. But your
I know.
variegation went this
I
way,
know,
and now
yeah.
it's going this way.
Yeah, I like it this way better, but so that's just gonna have to be.
It'll be
it's-
shading.
You know, it's a carrot. They don't have a pattern.
Let me see.
Yeah, because when I was looking at the picture here, and you can really see it, the variegation here.
Yeah,
Going
they
up-
did it up and down.
Yeah, because when you pull
Actually,
a carrot out of
carrot-
when you pull a carrot out of the ground, it has that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I started doing it.
carrots now.
So I don't like the top rows.
That's okay.
You don't have to.
It's not mine, so it doesn't matter.
So.
Every day we're
and,
gonna walk
and
by
back
that.
here
and go,
I have these
"That
these
carrot."
clips that I bought. I have some plastic ones, purple plastic ones, and I bought those pink ones at the dollar store.
You bought something pink?
Yes.
Wait a
Yes,
minute.
that was
Wait a
the
minute.
only
Wait. What's today? 2021. She bought something pink of her own free will.
Was
Yes.
it blue? Oh, they didn't have any blue.
They didn't have any blue.
Oh, they didn't. Never mind.
Was it in the craft section?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm just surprised you actually bought something pink.
I'm, it's not just the little tray or the galvanized metal things or the little shapes. It's the glues and the paints.
You know,
and
somebody. I was watching a Flosstube, and I don't remember what channel it was watching, but they found a bottle of Aleene's glue that had a flip top and stood up, with the nozzle pointed down, because they were talking about the way Vonna Pfeiffer.
Oh, like a ketchup bottle?
Yeah, the way Vonna Pfeiffer, what she uses Aleene's glue all the time, and so she has a cup, and she has her her tube, you know, in the cup so that she doesn't have to shake it down.
I mentioned that in my video too. I don't use the
But-
same Aleene's glue, but it works so well
Yeah.
to keep it upside down.
But this person found a tube, a
That's
bottle of
already made that
Aleene's
way.
that's already, yeah, like a squeezy bottle of mayonnaise, you know, the squeezy things on the bottom.
Wow.
I know, I thought, I need that. Anyway, so after I got sick of the giant carrot, I decided that, you know, because Priscilla and Chelsea, the station with the housewives, they do a Jolly July thing. And I was thinking, yeah, I might do something for that. And because I have this snowman, Stoneware Snowman by Priscilla's Pocket. And I'd done 2 other, the Stoneware Kitten and Stoneware Cat. But, so this is Stoneware Snowman. And so on Monday or Sunday night, in the wee hours of Monday morning, whatever, I started it and I finished it about a little more than 24 hours because it was the wee hours of Tuesday morning. I
You
finished it.
I'm gonna hold it
You
close.
can't see it. Yeah, the light is
Yeah.
coming through it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The snowman.
One and done.
Yeah, except I had to. The reason it took me longer than it did was
As long as it did.
yeah, it was that I redid the bottom half of it like 3 times because I did all this. There's, you know, straight stitching on the bottom that is snow, and then I was starting up this other side to finish it, right? And well, almost finished because I had to do the little hand and the star left, but so I was going up here and I got up here and it
It was
didn't match.
messed up.
It didn't, and I was like, oh man. So I thought, well, surely in this long stitching for the snow is where I miscounted because this is very tiny. It's like I think 36 count fabric, but I'm not sure. But it's very tiny, and so I thought, well, you know, somewhere I miscounted somewhere in this, and so.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for that pattern.
So I got to, it's right there. So I got to the bottom of it. So I undid it and I sort of started to undo all this straight stitching because I thought I counted this side and I think it's correct and I did all this and so I redid it and I got up there and it was still wrong. So I pulled it all out again and then I recounted this side and it's this right here. I was missing one stitch. Yeah, on this long side over here, I was missing one stitch, and so I put that in and I redid the whole thing, and then I finished it. So
That's
I
very
finished
cute. You're gonna
this.
make another little pillow like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did it come with
I
the
like
stuff
that
for a
little
pillow?
trim. Did
It
come
came
with
with
a trim?
it came with a trim. Yeah, I have it's in back there. It came with the trim and the fabric and the thread. So yeah, I just have to stuff it and
You have to get it
and I
backing
get a
fabric.
backing fabric. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And I think I still have actually the backing fabric that I used for the cat and the kitten. It's just a blue.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So it's just
It's so
really,
simple.
really cute. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Boy, doing this rooster is so hard. I have to have my pattern open.
Are you just going back and forth?
And so I'm getting ready to do this rabbit ink circles rabbit for January because it's just 2 colors and the January challenge is using the
You mean
fabric
the
of floss.
August.
August.
It's
sorry.
It's a
bunny.
January pattern.
January
but
pattern.
You're doing it in August.
August, yes, for cross stitch camp, and the challenge is to use a fabric or floss that is new to you. And so I'm using Gloriana Silks. These ink circles patterns are charted in Gloriana Silks, and I've never used silks because they're expensive, and because I don't have any silks. And so this one only uses 2 colors, and so I'm doing that.
Ooh,
Yeah,
pretty,
they're very
pretty.
nice.
Pretty.
And actually, when I bought those, I bought this evergreen color just because it was there and I liked it. It's pretty. It's on the list.
For the others, for the
yeah.
other months?
Yeah.
You should just do them all.
So I am. Yeah.
well.
It's like $100 worth of thread. if you bu- you
Well,
know,
a little at a time.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I think I'm gonna buy just a little bit at a time because right now I don't have any.
A month at a time, it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah.
Well, February uses kind of a lot, and so
So do March next.
so I'm gonna actually, and I have to go on. I want to go online to see if more patterns are available because I only have January through June, I think. So I want to see if the rest of the year
So cute.
is ready.
It's simple
And I'm using. It's not the brand is not new, but the color is new. This is called Spa, and it's one of these. It's from Hobby Lobby. This Murano Carre.
She hasn't started anything on that.
No, that's just I just like found the corner because I'm going to start in the upper left hand corner. So I was just preparing the fabric for the August 1st start.
Bunny.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, there's a real bunny, a picture
Yeah,
of a real
there's
bunny.
a real bunny in the bottom for me. But so it's just like I said, it's very simple. Just uses two colors, and actually, this is done like on a gray fabric, and I don't know if it's the photography, but it's a little hard to see the white on there.
Yeah.
But the white really pops on this
Well,
blue
it's
fabric.
because
it's
it's
very-
stuffed and it
Yeah.
so it's round. So at the top where the light is hitting it fades a little. But yeah, it'll
But
look
you can
nice
really
on the
see
blue.
it on the white on this blue fabric, and the brown actually.
Yeah, that's cute.
Are gonna look really good on
Yeah,
this
they're gonna
fabric.
look nice. So
They're really gonna show up.
Yeah.
So and this fabric is not very big. But I might be able to get at least one other pattern on there if it's appropriate. I haven't looked at them all the colors to see if what goes on what fabric. But I have several pieces of this fabric because I went ahead and bought like one of every color that they make. So I have a couple. They make a sort of a tan and a
You're talking about fabric though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tan and a gray, I think, plaid color,
Oh.
and like plaid,
That's
gray
the
and
one
white,
she
blue
did.
and white.
Is that the one you did the Christmas thing?
Yes.
with?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the
The-
Christmas
That's
pattern
neat.
that we have with the
Waiting for Santa.
where the kittens are going. Oh, there's Santa Claus.
And but they also have a sort of a color called rust, a color called I don't know, but they have
Weird
like a
filters.
mustard color and this spa color and one called pink splash that has a little very faint pink markings on it and some so I bought all of those colors of fabric. So I was thinking that I might be able to find when I'm looking at the patterns, I might be able to find appropriate matches to the fabrics and make them all with that Murano Carre fabric. So there's that. So I spent some time also. I think I showed it last week on my channel. I don't know if I showed it on here on this channel. This Dimensions kit called Winter Gathering that I bought.
I think you did.
That with the birds on the branch.
You
No,
showed
the
it
little
to
birds.
me.
No, you showed it just on your channel. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I
Yeah.
showed it on my
That
channel.
is so cute.
I think you bought it maybe after the video.
Oh, you
Yeah.
bought it? Yeah, you bought it.
When we went to Joanne, no, I bought it at Joanne's, I think.
Yeah,
But
but you didn't show it on our channel. It's a beautiful.
Yeah. But so, but it's these little birds sitting on a branch wearing little Christmas hats, and it has like trees, in the background that are like done in half stitches, and it's very cute. But so I on Tuesday, I think, after I finished the Stoneware Snowman, I spent most of the day like doing that getting that kit prepared because although I don't plan on starting it anytime soon necessarily, I just was bored and felt like doing it. so it's all ready to go. I got the fabric that came in the kit, of course, is Ada, but it's like a blue, very light blue color. But it's also kind of stiff, so I'm kind of working on it and folded it up and rolled it up and all that to sort of work out
Do you ever
some of
wash it?
the
No.
kinks.
Would
Yeah,
it-
but I was
would
thinking it might need to be washed because it's still very stiff. But yeah, and then it came the colors, the threads all came on on this cardboard thing, or hanging off, glued on there and hanging off
Yeah.
there. So I made some thread drops and cut them off of that card and put them on the thread drops. And so I spent all day Tuesday doing that, and stitched a little bit. And then I pulled this out for a continuation of Jolly July. This is the 2019 Santa, is that the right word? Yeah, 2019 Santa from Prairie Schooler.
Nice.
And because I've had it since 2019, and I had worked on it a little bit, and it was kind of stalled. I had it in my rotation, but I just hadn't worked on it in ages, and I was very close to being finished. I just had the tan color in the sheep, the little swirls, and the dark color of his. I think I had done these two legs, and because I had done Santa's boots. But I just had these two legs and his face, and then Santa's gloves and this little sheep's head here, and their eyes, and the pink of his face, and like that. So little bitty details, and very few stitches. The most stitches I had were of this dark brown of the sheep's face and everything. But then I was doing this. I did this Peace on Earth backstitching of the letters up here, and really, I just really love the way they came out. I don't know if it's the alphabet style that they used or whatever, or maybe it's this fabric. This is like an 18 count, I think Ada Rustico Ada that I tea coffee dyed, and part of it is it's very tiny and very hard to stitch. Like when you like these little bitty details of the eyes and the ear things on the sheep, they're really hard to see because they're all surrounded by and matter of fact, what I was doing, the little sheep he just has one little square for the eye, and I accidentally, when I did it, I realized that I accidentally did half the stitch. When I was doing the half stitch over, I accidentally poked it in this hole.
Oh.
And so, I kind of had to, I was like, well, it's not exactly perfect, but you can't really see because it's so tiny. But,
How come the sheep have blue eyes?
I don't know.
Sheep don't have blue eyes.
To make them stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
But, so now I'm doing the back stitching around, and when I do that, I'll be done.
Nice.
I'll have another finish.
This cross stitch camp has been amazing for Beth because I think she's finished more in a shorter amount of time than she normally does.
Yeah.
Because then she's waiting, and so she's
She's like,
working
"Oh,
on
I'll do something
all these
else."
other little things. She's pulling out these little, because she doesn't want to start on anything
Well, and
big.
because you didn't plan anything overwhelming for yourself.
Yeah, because like when I've done things like Mania, like the first time I did Mania, when I did my 4 tall ships, those are big projects, and I only worked like a week on each one. So I worked a week, but it was basically started from scratch.
Yeah.
On those, and so and then since then, the second year, I did a ship mania. So I spent I think a week working on the ships again. But in between times,
You never looked at it.
I didn't look at them. Yeah, so I had set them aside, and then this past May, I did a whip mania, and so I had 21 whips, and I did 21 days, so I only did 1 day on each one, on each
Can't
project.
get any work done on
No.
the day.
Well, and
So
what's nice is for June and July, you did your little projects, you were done, but then I think you
Mhm.
spent more time on each whip or each thing. You know what I mean? Like
You picked up something and finished
You
it.
finished
and then you
it,
picked
yeah.
up something
And then you-
else and finished it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing
You
is
haven't
that
been doing
is that when we were when we were getting ready to start cross stitch camp in June, you know, I couldn't start anything until June 1st, and I had already done my Whipmania things in May. It was after the 21st, so I had from the 22nd basically until the 31st of May, and that's when I started Easter preparation and spring scamper.
Mhm.
And so they had both already been started. You know, I had worked mostly on Easter preparation more than spring scamper. I think I had just done part of the bunny's head in this, you know, in the center of spring
Yeah.
scamper, but I had done more on Easter preparation. And so after the June project was finished, it was much easier to just finish Easter preparation. And also, it's not a full coverage piece; it's very sparse.
Mhm.
And so I was able to do more and finish that one. And then I had these little projects, the Stoneware Snowman and this. I had already started this Santa, and it was. I think I just started this. I mean, just started working on it last night.
I just what I guess what I was saying is that you seem more focused on after you of course you focus on your chosen project for that, and then you carried that same focus on into working on other things until you could.
Well, and part of it also was that, and part of that group, One Strand a Night, and I haven't posted anything in the last couple of days just because I've been lazy and I've been working on this stuff. But instead of taking pictures, I took some pictures of my progress, but not that much. And actually, I was gonna post a picture yesterday, and then I was gonna post a picture today, and you know,
But the benefits of One Strand a Night.
One Strand a Night, yeah, is that
Why?
that and the
But why is that? Why? Because it just encourages you to work.
yeah, because
Everything.
it just encourages you to work one strand a night to do, you know, to post regular progress pictures, you know, just like all these challenges where, you know, you're posting your starting and ending progress. So One Strand a Night, and also the embroidery.com challenges in June, I guess, that, you know, she was doing the merit thing. You know, it's basically a, you know, pat yourself on the back kind of reward thing, but it was stitching, you know, every day in the month of June. Huh?
This really funny.
I know.
And now it's just, you know, for your own.
Yeah, and
you know,
so and now she has
try to stitch every day.
done a double dare or something like that, and so yeah, it's just, you know, trying to spur yourself to stitch every day, and I do stitch every day anyway, but you know, just so this, you know, just is further incentive to just keep going, and it's, you know, sort of accountability, if you will, but I just, like I said, the last couple of days I haven't posted it because I keep thinking, oh, I'll do it in the morning. I'll do it in the morning. I'll do it, and then, you know, things have gotten away from me. But so
Well, I think what's happened, at least from my observation, is that everything you've done has been attainable.
yeah, there's
Like it's
smaller
a small
projects.
enough project that you know, like you know, you can attain it, and so it's more encouraging, and you know, because it's when you have a giant C that you're like, you know, at least for me, you're like,
yeah, like well, I think the biggest thing I had to work on since January was the tribal owl.
Yeah.
And then once I got that finished,
You just like did little things.
yeah, I've been doing
That's
little
been
things, and then so like you know, I didn't have to do anything for Mania, but I wanted to do Whip Mania because I had all these whips, and I still have a bunch, and I still have. And now I was just thinking about that winter gathering thing, going, "That's another whip." But I really want to start it. I'm just
so
very eager to
beautiful.
start it. And
you have it with you or no?
no, I didn't bring it. I
Oh.
was going to, but I didn't bring it because I was bringing
It's
everything else in the
It's
world
a picture of a bunch of birds on a line.
on a branch.
And they're all wearing hats and scarves? Or
Yeah, they're
something?
all wearing little
That's the
scarves and
dimensions kit
little
she was
winter
just talking
hats
about.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they have stockings. They have stockings hanging on that branch. And
That's
so I was like,
adorable.
this is so cute.
Well, like starting on my snowman, I was really far behind on this. I was mad at letters to Santa, and I have a bag that I take with smaller things in it. I take it whenever, like I didn't have to. I chose to take my father to physical therapy because Naomi usually takes him, but she wasn't feeling well. So a different thing than why she's not feeling well today. She's had a bad
Had
week.
an awful week.
And so, I said, I'm going to work on something that makes me smile.
Yeah, exactly.
And, because this isn't a job, it's a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not making you smile, put it down and get something that's making you smile because,
Yep.
your hobbies should be something that gives you peace and centers you, not frustrates you and makes you, annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Makes
why
you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah,
or-
that's why Letters to Santa is in timeout. It's a simple thing, but I kept making stupid mistakes because I would try to work on it when I was in a hurry or when I was tired, and the same thing with finishing the Let Freedom Ring. That dark fabric, I can't work on it in the car. I thought, all this light, I should be able to work on it. I can't, and I,
Yeah.
4th of July is gone, and I have other things on my horizon, and Christmas is coming up, and fall, and I have my own cross stitch things that I haven't worked on, and my own patterns that I haven't worked on, and I'm like, I don't need to finish this. I'm not gonna worry about it, and I said that to somebody on a post. I said, if what you're working on is frustrating you and making you upset, if you hate backstitching and you don't want to do the backstitching, don't put it on. Don't put it on. Leave it off. It's just
there's no art police that's gonna come and yell at you for not having.
It's just spider webs on this pattern, right? If you don't want to put the spider webs on, don't put them on. And you know what? They make pens that look a lot like embroidery drawn on.
That's a good idea.
Because
That's a good idea.
she had just picked up cross stitch again, and
Oh.
and it was making her frustrated. And you know what?
Yeah.
Change it. If you don't, with the whale,
Mm-hmm.
I was getting so annoyed trying to do the cross stitch the way the pattern said, and finally I said, I'm just going to do it this way.
Yeah, and even so, or just leave the back stitch, go take something and practice it,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back, and you'll feel like a month later or 2 weeks later, and you'll feel better about it.
This thing that I'm doing now, whenever this is very much like the border on the Black Rock Angels. This is by the same people, Prairie Schooler. And so it just has, it's like every other square backstitching around it. Well, I ain't backstitching it. I'm forward stitching it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
why not?
Because why not?
Because make it easy on yourself.
Yeah, and that way I don't have the the looping thing of the backstitching. I'm only backstitching like on the corners because that's because of, to get around
Yeah,
it.
the thing
But,
is that you have to. That's what.
But I did backstitch on the lettering,
Well, of
just
course.
because of the
But-
look, whatever.
But if it's, I guess that's what I love about this mystery knit along that I'm about to do in August. The designer, she's so cool because I I found her. Her name's Casapinka. I've talked about her a lot. I found her because I follow one of my friends from Tempe Yarn and Fiber, who's also a spinner. She and I sat next to each other in Wool School, and so I started following her Instagram.
Wool School is a thing.
Wool School. Yeah, I talked about Wool School last year, remember? Anyway, and so she, didn't I talk about Wool School?
Yeah, you
I'm
did.
trying to think how long we've been doing this channel.
Since about November.
Yeah, so I haven't gone to Wool School, but while we were doing this. But anyway, Wool School is a thing where we went to Tempe Yarn and Fiber, we learned about all the different types of wool and spinning and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool. But anyway, she was a friend I met there, and so I follow her on Instagram, and she showed a shawl that she had made, and it was Goldfish Memory by Casapinka, and I was like, just the title of it was fascinating to me, and so I went to look her up. And the Goldfish Memory is a shawl she made that it's like, I guess it's like a, I don't know, it's like an easy repeat so that you don't have to remember anything further than crossing your bowl. Like they say goldfish have memory, that like the longest they can remember is the width of their bowl or something like that. So I was intrigued. And then I'm not sure where I saw it, but I saw that she was doing a mystery knit along last year. Oh yeah, so during the early pandemic, when we went to Maryland for my mother-in-law's funeral, I went to a yarn shop while I was there, and I got 2 skeins of sock yarn, and I decided to make socks with one of them, and the other one I didn't know what to do, but it was beautiful, and so I was looking for patterns of what to do with just one 400-yard skein of yarn, and they're not a lot. You know, you can make a hat, you can make socks, right? So I was looking around, and I found all these things led me to Casapinka, and she has a shawl called One and Done, and it's just like a semicircle shawl that's very open because she uses drop stitches where you knit the whole thing and then you drop a stitch at the bottom and you basically unravel these lines. I can go get it if you want to see it, but and so it uses just 1 skein of yarn, and it's just like a shoulder, shawl. It's real nice, real small. So that's how I found her. And then I don't know how I got wind of her mystery knit along August of 2020. But what's so nice is that in those, and so anyway, there's a Facebook group, so we joined the Facebook group. And in the shawl, because she recognizes that a lot of the people who joined, a lot of them are new knitters. So she has, in several sections, she'll have the section, and then she has a beginner section. And then, because it's actually written by her cat, Sharon from Security, which I've talked about before.
The cat is very smart.
And she's beautiful. And the whole thing came about because, I think I said this before, that somebody on Instagram got mad because she was posting pictures of her cat with like a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. It was like a, you could tell it was just
Photoshop.
stuck on, yeah. And someone was mad, like, I come here for the knitting, not for cat pictures. And she's like, oh yeah? So Sharon from Security made a pattern, and she was the one who did this mystery knit along. So it was the Sharon show. And the whole thing is that she's a very snarky cat, and she gives out citations for doing stupid things. Like one of the things was choosing your yarn colors. She said if you don't have high contrast, or you have more than there was like some rules. She's like, this is only going to work if your yarns have a lot of contrast, and so
Well, that works for a lot of things like quilting.
And so people would put up their pictures of their yarn, and she's like, you're getting a citation because you're not following directions. Like, don't be stupid. But at the same time, her patterns are so, the whole experience was so nice because she's like, if you make a mistake, just make what they call they call them Sharon snacks. They call it, so now we refer to mistakes in our knitting as snacks. And sometimes you can live with a snack, and sometimes you can't. you know, it's a design element, you know. Like there was one section of that Sharon Show shawl that I did wrong. And then I realized, well, I can rip it all out, or I can do it wrong the rest of the section. And it wasn't wrong. I didn't lose any stitches or anything. I just had done something backwards. So I just did it that way. And it became my own, you know, she's like, it's your own. And you have to find peace with it. She's like, it is not worth getting upset. This is just sticks and strings. It's just, you know, it's just knitting. And nobody's going to care if you're wearing, when you put your shawl on and somebody sees that they're going to say, you know, or like Jenny Doan says, when she says, if someone looks inside your quilt and sees which way you ironed your seam allowances and yells at you, they are not your friend. Like, it doesn't matter if you want to put them all to the dark side, if you want to lay them flat, it doesn't matter. You know, so do your own.
Yeah, that's it. But you see that a lot in cross stitch posts where, you know.
And I'm sorry, but it's all these people who are like, well, you should.
Yeah.
And that's what makes people feel bad and feel self-conscious.
Yeah. When you have a mistake, and you know, you can either frog it or fudge it. You can either pull it all out and redo it, or you can work around it or whatever. And whether or not you do just depends on how it affects the rest of the piece that you're working on.
And if you want to do
it. And if you feel like, you know, pulling it all out and redoing it, like some people are perfectionists, and in a way I'm kind of that way, where I want to do it right and not, you know, but like with that the bunny on the Easter preparation, you know, I could have pulled it all out and redone his little scarf in the right place, and you know, and then you know, his body would have been right, blah blah blah. But it was like, okay, when I looked at it, I thought, okay, all I have to do is adjust the length of his body by one row.
Right. It's just like my telling you about your carrot.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't live with it going the two ways.
Yeah.
One, going the stripes all one way or going the stripes the other way, but that's me.
Yeah.
And it's not my project.
Right, and exactly. And the other thing is that you have to have your level of
I pulled out the stuff on Letters from Santa because I was going to leave it, you know, half of it 3 strands and half of it 2 strands because it was all white. And I tried just adding a strand, and I didn't like the way it looked, and so I said, I'm taking it out.
Yeah, so it's up to you, and then like, and some people, you know, just like will say, well, like what you're talking about, like, you know, leaving the back stitching out or leaving out certain things. Like some people I know have done the same Santa pattern and have not done the Peace on Earth wording, or they, you know, or they'll have, you know, some pattern that'll have, you know, a saying on it or something, and they'll leave the wording out, you know.
Yeah.
And so some people like it, some people don't, and whatever. And so,
but it's yours.
So you can make the pattern however you want, or you can like I know some people who have done on these Prairie School Shantas or on other stitches where they changed like the skin color of the person Santa, on it because they don't like the way it looks or whatever.
Or they want just a different.
Or they just want some variety or whatever.
Well,
and so
that resting beach face with by Hands On Design, she has on her website. She has thread suggestions if you want to change the hair color or the skin color.
Nice.
Because I want one with gray hair and slightly darker skin.
You know, it's like the whole thing is though that there's no police.
Yeah.
And even if you make a high holy mess of it, it's still yours. And you know.
And a lot of times nobody will know that it's wrong.
No.
You know, when I was looking.
Okay, this sweater has mistakes because somewhere up in here somewhere there's a yarn over that I made, and so a few of these stitches are bigger. I took a needle and I just kind of spread out there's something when I'm purling, and I have not identified what it is yet, but there's something when I'm purling, I accidentally yarn over, to make a big hole. And so when I go back to on the knitting side, I'm like, oh, and I just drop it and knit it. And then I have kind of a bigger stitch, right? So then I dare anyone to come and find it in here. And what I do is, if I see that, because it's a problem, I guess, I'll take it, I can find it.
Is that it? Right there?
No,
Oh.
no. But, I mean, because
I don't know, I don't know anything about
exactly, I mean, there's problems with, if you wanna really, you can really see all that.
Anything handmade, and you know, we
Yeah,
used
it's like,
to,
okay, so see right here, you can see there's a little growing out, that's what they
Yeah.
call it, you see that? That's
Yeah.
just like a tension problem where I didn't have good tension, and I don't know if it's the knit side or the purl side. But a little 6-year-old's gonna wear this, and no one is gonna see that, and no one's gonna care. And overall,
They're just gonna say how cute he looks in his sweater.
if it fits and works, it's gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
well,
and-
and,
Now, if you want to be a master hand knitter and you're turning in your swatches, no, you have to do it perfect. But even they say we allow a little bit because you're a human being. You're not a
well,
machine.
and wasn't it, my father used to do a lot of work on Isleta, Pueblo in New Mexico. And wasn't it them that said that if they didn't have a mistake in their pottery, that they would put one in
Yeah.
to let the evil spirits
Yeah.
out?
Well, when I was a kid,
yeah.
when I was a kid and we were at school, we were, they were, I don't know, showing us a film strip or something, I don't know, back in the dark ages, talking about Navajo weaving. And one of the things they talked about was, again, the idea of leaving a mistake in there on purpose to let the evil spirits out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always kind of joke about that.
Or
but
like
that,
in Apollo 13, we just had our glitch for this mission. Like you're going to have
Right.
one glitch,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, and so,
I always say that. I just had this the glitch for this mission.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I was talking about that, it's what you're willing to live with, what you're willing to get. Like when I was working on this pattern, and I had that little mistake on the eye of the little lamb, and I thought, nobody can really see that because people aren't going to look at it like this. And they aren't going to look at it with a magnifying glass and say, "Oh, that's wrong."
Or like Jenny Bell says, if they do, they're not your friend.
Yeah, and so it's like, most people are going to look at it, at arm's length. If it's hanging on a tree or if it's in a display or something like that, people aren't going to examine it. They're going to look at it and they're going to say it looks fine.
Oh yeah. When have you ever looked at anybody's
Mm-hmm.
anything that anyone's ever made and looked for the mistakes?
Yeah, and
Your teacher who's teaching you how to do something might,
mm-hmm.
Right?
maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I think people, when you say whatever you're comfortable with, but I think people are not in general comfortable with mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's because they feel like there is some standard of something, but when it's something
they're gonna be judged
created and something art, there
Mhm.
shouldn't be. And you should be able to just, I mean, obviously you want your sleeves to be the same length, or you want your
Mhm.
item to fit, or you want it to look like it's supposed to look. But if there's a little mistake in
So
there,
when
there
I
has to be some peace about
Yeah.
the fact that you're just creating a piece of something handcrafted. There has to
So
be.
when I was painting this, I did the little thing, and then I started putting tomatoes on, and I said, I don't want 4, and so I put one here,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Show the camera because you can't see. You're
Sorry.
off the camera.
I did the line first, and then I did this, and then I put this one on. So on this side, it's got 5 already.
Spaced out. Right.
But the little green line is different, and I'm okay with that being different. But then as I was going in, I kept, like one time I smeared the red, and I said there's ways to fix that, I'm not going to worry about it. And there's other places where I made it too fat or something, and I went in to fix some of them, and some of them,
Well,
and it's like, I
In-
try to work with my mistakes. I don't worry about it. I
Yeah.
don't.
in nature,
No
those
tomatoes.
plants,
Perfect.
those plants aren't perfect. They're not evenly
Right.
spaced or whatever.
And-
so
And
however it comes
I,
out, it comes
I
out.
know that in here and in reality, this is not the right color of green for the
Mhm.
plant.
Yeah.
However, I was putting it on this teal, and
Yeah.
if I put the right color of green, I don't think I would have liked it.
Right.
Mhm.
So I see things in here where I'm like, but it's handmade, and it's hand painted, and it's intended to look rustic. And I even said in my video, I work with my mistakes. I don't worry about them.
Yeah.
If I need to paint over it, I paint over it. That's the beauty of acrylic paint. The beauty of another beauty of acrylic paint is that you can take it off with water. However, it will take off all layers of paint, not just the one. So you know
that's just a measure of grace that you have to give yourself when you're doing something. Well, anything in life really, but with creating especially, you make a mistake and you don't want it. That's fine, but certainly don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
You know, like
I saw
worth it.
somebody had posted in one of the groups I was in a long time ago, I think, had posted that they were buying fabric at a cross stitch store somewhere, I don't know where, but that so they were asking something, asking about fabrics or asking about something, and they were I think they were looking for Ada, and the people at the shop were kind of snobbish about them and saying like, oh, Ada's only for beginners or something.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I am not kidding. And I was like, that would, when I first started stitching and when I first found the online community, I was kind of a little down on myself because it seemed like, some people who were
these great stitchers
on the
like snotty about it.
We're talking about like looking down their noses at Ada, like, oh well, this came with this kit Ada and I don't use it or whatever, or and we're kind of talking down on it, and at that time, I didn't really stitch on anything other than Ada, because that was kind of what everybody used back in the day.
What you knew.
And so
that's what's available at the
Kimberly Jolly will not stitch on anything but 14 count Ada anymore. She said, I've tried other things, and she said, I have discovered that I don't want to do 18 count or anything else. I don't want to do any. I don't enjoy it, and if I'm not enjoying it, why am I doing it?
Right. And
she works at Fat Quarter Shop.
Yeah. And so when I first started back, first found the online community, I felt very down on myself about that, and to the point of really almost stopping, because I thought, well,
intimidation.
I felt kind of crummy about everything I'd stitched before or whatever,
no.
and then I was watching Vonna Pfeiffer, and she sees basically everything because people send her stuff to finish, and she had said in one of her videos that somebody, like, she gets people who would write in and apologize for it, just I know it's just on Ada, or I know it's just or I know the back is messy and all that, and she's like, don't apologize for that, just like, stitch it on whatever you want to stitch it on, and it doesn't matter. And so whatever she was, I don't remember what all she was saying, but it really made me feel better about what I had done, because I was like, what I stitched is just as valid as what anybody else stitches.
Oh yeah,
and
like the one you made me for my wedding.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I was looking at it the other day. I should go get it. It's right there. I was looking at it the other day and I was like, this is beautiful. Like, why would you ever feel, I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
Now I feel like.
I was going to get out that quilt that I did for Beth. I don't know what it's like though. It's in the garage. It was in the.
I don't remember it.
It's blues. It's log cabin, I think.
I don't remember.
It was in the utility room. You brought it back from Arkansas because the seams were coming. I guess I had too small of a seam allowance.
I don't remember. Huh,
and I don't know. I didn't know how to fix it, so I never fixed it.
Okay, but you have to pardon the dust. This is what she stitched for me when we got married.
Oh, look at the back.
Yeah. So it says Naomi and Mark, and it's the the Shakespeare poem, sonnet 116.
Yeah.
We call it, at this house, we call it La Woo Ti Woo Woo Bee. So the name for this is La Woo Ti Woo Woo Bee. But I mean, look at this. It's absolutely beautiful. And, you know, a beginner, if you want, a stitcher, did all that. I mean, it's...
And really, you know, yeah, because...
It's so impressive. 92?
Yeah. So I had been stitching...
All this back stitching.
I had been stitching since 88.
Yeah. And like...
Very, very end
And
of
she
88.
added all these...
So what,
and she, I think you laid this out. This wasn't a pattern. This was just motifs, right?
Well, what it was is all of those were from a wedding pattern. So the wedding pattern had those swans at the top, and some of the other
like
I'd have to look at it to see it, but
like the side elements.
No, it had the.
But anyway,
maybe, I don't
but
know.
then she
But-
also you added
but,
stuff.
So yeah, it was.
And you wrote you figured out the
I figured out
poem yourself.
Yeah, I used the it was a.
My
like
point
a
is, this isn't a beginning stitcher that should feel ashamed of anything.
Yeah.
You know.
I started it theoretically in time to finish it for the wedding, but I ended up not doing it because I had to. What I did was I liked certain elements of the like wedding poem that I liked the swans on the top and the little arch above the swans, and but all the other elements were it was a booklet that came with the wedding thing, and then it had like the four corner elements were from a little, you could make a tray, and so the tray was, you know, the four corners, and then there were just various little things you could do where like those side rows things were like a little band thing or whatever.
I mean,
and so I just took all of these elements from all of these different projects that were in the booklet and put them all together.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, I had to chart them all because
Yeah.
I tried to just like sort of, I can do this free, and then it was like coming out all wrong. So I had to start over again. But
my point
yeah.
is, there's no reason you should feel ashamed. You can do something like that.
Yeah.
When you're a brand new stitcher,
Yeah.
that's a huge project.
Yeah, it
and
is.
you know, so that's the thing. It's like it's so easy, and then we who are experienced, like, you know, I'm talking about I make my own yarn, but but there is a time and a place for acrylic yarn. Now, I don't know that I'm ever going to use. Well, actually, I do think I could use Red Heart yarn again, but I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels. But there's a time and a place for an acrylic yarn. Well, you know, and then this is like the best acrylic yarn I think I've ever come across, and that's what you want for a little kid. So I mean, you can't be a snob.
Yeah.
You can't be a snob, and you certainly can't intimidate people who are new to the craft. Now, since I went in my room, I brought my one and done, which is very cute. Wait, that's the back. Here's the front. It's very, very cute. It's just a little, and those are drop stitches. You can see the see-through rows, and it's so cool. So you start here, and you go out, and then you get to this. You do this ending, and then before you start the trim, you drop a stitch and then just ladder it down, and it's so cool. I just love it. I had never done drop stitches before. And then this was the Sharon Show. I think I showed it early on.
Yeah.
The Sharon Show shawl. That I made. Sorry, last year's Mystery Knit Along. So it started on this end, and it had pretty complicated stitches like these stars.
Harry Potterish.
Well, yeah,
In a way.
okay.
I mean,
So
it just reminds me
there's
of those colors.
yeah, I know the parts. So I really wanted a fall looking shawl. I wanted a fall shawl, a fall shawl. But and I actually had a variegated yarn in place of the brown. But there were parts where, and I made a little swatch of all 4 colors, and I realized the variegation was not going to work like she said it wouldn't. And so, because I believed her, because she was like, don't use a variegated yarn or you'll regret it, and if you use it, don't complain. So I made a swatch like a good doobie, and I realized no, it's not going to work.
A good what?
Like a good doobie.
What does that mean?
Like a good person, you know,
Oh.
due diligence.
Oh,
Anyway, and here's my mistake section. I think it's right there. Yeah, this is the mistake section. This yellow part here. You can't tell it's a mistake, can you? I made a mistake on the first row and then did it for the rest of the thing. So, you know, you can't tell. But and then there's my kitty cat paws in honor of Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Kitty cat and Pippin.
Oh.
Can you see them? They're green. They actually go this way. See the kitty cat paws?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
There's kitty cat paws right there. And then there's Morse Code in this shawl right here. The original Morse Code was funny, something about Jean from IT, because she always talks about, she's Sharon from security, and Jean from IT, she calls her a skunk butt. So that's what that said, but we could all change it. So somebody published an alphabet. So I changed mine, and it says, what's the verse? Speak, do mercy, walk, it's from Micah, the verse from Micah. Now I can't think of it.
Yeah, I know.
Like show mercy, I'm embarrassed. Anyway, it's a verse. It's one of my favorite verses. But instead of saying walk humbly, it says walk humble, because I couldn't do the Y. The Y, Morse code Y is very long. But anyway, so that's what that Morse code is. Because it's dash, dash, dot, dot, you know, like that. Anyway, so this year's Mystery Knit Along will be another long shawl like that. Okay, so the colors, I wanted a fall color, and I really wanted that variegated brown yarn. And it didn't work out. And I picked, and I wanted purple, and I wanted a gold, but it's really turned out very yellow. So everybody tells me this looks like a Mardi Gras shawl.
Oh.
The purple, yellow, and green. But, and so
it
it's
looks
not,
like a shawl with colors you like.
it's not my favorite color combo. This year's gonna be better, but I like it, and it does,
I
it
like
does
the color combinations.
yeah, it's unique. It's not something but actually with all the olive stuff that I have, it will work nicely.
But it does remind me of Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
Yeah.
We should probably go.
Yeah, we should probably cut off.
I love this.
We never told our stories.
I
These
know.
stories.
The only stories I have are that I was extremely sick.
And then it rained, and your car got a branch on it. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's pictures. You should put pictures.
I'll put pictures. Yeah. So yeah, a week ago, I wound up in the hospital, and then, I think I had pleurisy, so that lasted a while, and then it rained all week again. And it's
Yes.
still probably raining outside.
I went Thursday. I had a doctor's appointment, and then and it was pretty much fine, all morning, and then that
It's kind of been raining since.
afternoon or evening it started raining.
Yeah,
and
which
it's
we
been-
love. We're not complaining. We love it.
Yeah,
And then-
I think the Lord is giving everybody a chance to see how the other half lives.
Well, that, and then I told Mark, I said, you know what's going to happen next week? My eyes will be itching and everything. So
everything will be growing.
yeah, and then yesterday morning, the doorbell rang at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm like, who is ringing my doorbell? And I was already feeling sick, and so I finally opened the door, and it was a neighbor. She's like, there's something wrong in your front yard. Your tree fell. I'm like, what? And it's on your car. What?
Fortunately, they just had one car out there because
Yeah, my car's in the garage, but yeah. So I go out, and my husband's little car is covered by the, it's
Almost
a Palo
completely
Verde.
covered.
It's a Palo Verde tree. I
They
have
fall
pictures.
all the time.
I'll put pictures up, but yeah, so it was covered, and he had to go to work, and it wasn't completely broken off the tree either. So he just shoved it. He just shoved it back off the back of his car, and the car has looks like someone took an elbow to the roof. But other than that, I mean, it's not bad. It's really not bad. And but he left it in the driveway. So he had to go to work. So he pulled into the driveway and then pulled out on our rocks and was able to get the car out. I couldn't get out. So I'm taking a medication, and I think that's partly what made me sick, but I also think now that I got food poisoning. And so I was in no shape, but I texted my across the street neighbor and said, do you guys have a chainsaw? And so she talked to her husband, because she had to go to work, and her husband called me and said, I have just a little saw, but I'll come over. So he and Eli worked on it, and then while he and Eli were working on it, two of our other neighbors came over, and they all were able to cut it. And
It's a huge branch.
It's a huge branch. They were able to twist it, and with between and my saw, that I have a little hacksaw, and that saw worked better than Tom's, and they were able to cut it off, and they dragged it into our yard. So that was a blessing that they were home to do that for Mark, and because I couldn't. And then I spent the rest of the day being extremely sick, like so sick. I've never been so sick in my life.
I have just another
But that was
I just have another postal story.
Oh no! Did you go postal on somebody?
I wanted to. No, our housing unit has one of those post office
Community post mailboxes.
or there's a whole bunch of mailboxes in there, and we've lived there about 3.5 years, and I have never been able to get that mailbox open with the key. Dad has been able to do it, but there are some days he'll go over there and try to get the mail. I love that. Try to get the mail out and can't open the box. And it's been getting a little worse and a little worse. And the last time,
You had to put your tongue in the right place.
yeah, the last time, he tried all day and it was so hot, and he came in looking like a limp dish rag, and I said, Dad, you can't go and check the mail in the middle of the day, and if it won't open the first time, come back.
Yeah.
And then it started working again. But this past week he couldn't open it. The neighbors couldn't open it. He tried several times that day, couldn't open it. And I had already looked up what to do, so we went to the post office, and because you have to go physically into the post office, you can't call anybody, you can't tell anybody, you have to actually physically go to the post office. And there, they look up to see whether or not your HOA or the post office owns the boxes. Fortunately, the post office owns the boxes.
Oh, that's good.
So then you have to bring in your rental or mortgage or whatever to prove that you live there.
Mm.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you give them your key, or you have to pay $50, and they will hold your mail at the post office. Meanwhile, mail had been trapped in our box for a couple of days, and we couldn't get it until yesterday. They're holding the mail there, so we can go and pick it up there. And we decided we're going to go pick it up like every other day, but it's going to take a month for them to change the lock.
It doesn't take a month.
I know, but
They are going to take a month.
Yeah.
That's the correct
So
sentence.
this post office where for our neighborhood is 2 major streets from us, and it's very close to the freeway, and I go down our main street, hit the freeway, go over the 2 streets, and literally from the exit can turn into the post office. And yesterday when I was going to go check the mail with my dad, that exit has this weird, it's not a normal intersection. It's a new kind of intersection that's supposed to keep intersection accidents from happening.
That's funny.
which is amusing. And so, but it's a very wide exit lane. It's not a double exit lane. One lane, you know. And I'm starting to go off, but I could see that there was somebody on that road that wanted to turn left into the post office, and I wanted to make sure they weren't going to turn when I was trying to turn in there too. So I kind of paused, and there was another guy that was going to get on the freeway, and I wanted to make sure also he wasn't making a U-turn, because people like to make U-turns in our neighborhood. And so I kind of was just watching the traffic a little bit, but it was okay, so I started to go. And I mean, I paused this long. I mean, not very long at all. I started to go. Car comes from behind me, passes me on the right, has to go around me like this and around the guy turning left like that, and goes on straight. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, and I'm like, I bet this person thinks they're a really good driver. Oh yeah.
Well, so your mailbox is gonna get fixed though.
Oh, eventually, yeah. But you know,
Yeah,
Did you ever? Oh, you got the mail out of the box though.
yeah, yesterday.
Oh,
It was just mostly junk mail.
how'd you do that? Met the mailman there and said.
No, they
They
took
go
it back to the. That's why I was going to go pick it up.
I see.
So we have to go to the post office, you know, and go get it there every day, every other day, whatever.
I'm like, I'm waiting on.
Is it coming mail or is it coming?
Well, I think they're both coming. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're coming.
The other fabric.
I ordered
fabric.
I ordered it. Yeah, I think it's coming in the mail. Yeah, the fabric that I ordered from Lady Dot Creates, the
for
backing fabric for
For mom's thing.
yeah.
Cool.
And I had got an email the other day that they had sent the
Are you done?
almost the fabric. It was saying, oh, they've sent you a package, and so that's in the mail probably either right now or will be on Monday. And then I think, quite some time ago, I had ordered a bathing suit,
Oh yeah.
and I think that's the other email I got, because I got an email from a name I didn't recognize, but I think it's from Catherine's, but saying so and so has sent you a package.
Well, now you'll never get it because it'll be stuck in the.
So I was like, man.
Well, we better go.
So,
We've been talking a long time.
I'm almost finished.
Almost finished.
Oh, I have like a handful of
What if
stitches.
you had
and
like
I'll
4
finish.
finishes this month?
Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
Now you gotta finally finish them all. Get on it.
Yeah, no, I gotta finally.
All right.
Fully finished. Yeah.
Well, with that, we're gonna say goodbye.
Yeah, you guys enjoy your stitching. Enjoy your crafts. Love
and
what you do.
hopefully it's raining, but not too much. Bye for now. See you next week.
Bye.